What's up? Happy handsome Tuesday, guys. Happy handsome Tuesday. Looking a little rough today. Had some hard training yesterday. Got a couple stories. Um, Not the best thumbnail. We got Mikey on there. We got Sean Strickland. So we're gonna get right into it, and hopefully we can find some more information on this UFC stuff. Where am I? There we go. We good, guys? We up? Yep. So yeah, Sean Strickland says the problem with UFC, they don't pay. I mean, this you should have known that they never paid. You'd make more working in Walmart for a year. So, those initial fighters, I'm sure Quan will jump on here. His brother or his cousin or something was in one of the shows. Uh, so yeah, we'll see. Um, it's not enough money for the amount of damage, and it's been pretty bad for a long time, and nothing's got better. Dana White's only got richer, and the fighters get poorer. Ain't that crazy? So it says Strickland hammered the UFC for fighter pay, saying they signed more foreign fighters to keep pay low for new fighters. So I think the foreign fighters are okay with the lower pay. They go back to their Dagestan or wherever they're from. That $20,000 can go a long way. They can buy a farm. They can buy some animals. They good. But if you live in America, kind of tough. A little tough. Someone says, imagine fighting for 15K to start. Shaking my head. Crazy, bro. You saying 15K total? So 7.5, 7.5, 7.5 the show and 7.5 the win? That's pretty bad. I mean, that's not going to cover the hospital, your hospital bills or anything. Yeah, he cooked, man. And Dana White, he wastes $15,000 on nothing. That's his pocket money. He got that in his wallet right there. 15K in his wallet. 1 hour in the octagon is what the average American makes in a year, working 40 plus hours a week. The average American is making $15,000 a year. I think it's even 12, bro. The average American salary is 63,000. That's probably the median salary, not the average. Americans, we can't do no math. We don't know no geography. Exactly. That's roughly 4 fights a year. Not many fighters are that active. Yeah. I mean, one fight is traumatic. And you want someone to fight 4 times? Man, they for $60,000. That's pretty rough, bro. Yes, and they spend hours and hours training for that 1 hour. Yeah. Years of training for one fight. To even make it into the UFC is years of training, you know? Even if you were super gifted, it's going to take you, I would say, 3 to 5 years just to get to that level to where you could be on the undercard of a UFC or, whatever else they got going on. It's going to take you a year or two before you can even do an amateur fight. You need to learn some skills unless you started very young. Most people are that active, honestly. It's the people who make 100K for a 15-minute fight that isn't active. Again, to make that 100K, they must have put years on the mats to get to that level. They work 40 plus hours during the week to train for fights that if they're lucky, they'll get 3 a year. You aren't very smart. So most of your UFC fighters, your favorite UFC fighters are working 40. They're working 40 hours a week too. They're bartending, they're bouncing, they're DoorDash, Uber, they doing everything. Living in the gym. Three rounds, 5 is 15. 3 rounds of 5 is 15 minutes. 4 fights equals 1 hour. 12,000 times 4 is $48,000. That's the average yearly income in America. A 3 round fight. Breaking news: UFC releases former champion Sean Strickland. So, um, it's pretty bad when you got someone that famous like Sean Strickland. How much was he making, guys? Let's see. I mean, he's talking about fighter pay. I mean, Ngannou's talking about fighter pay. Basically, every UFC champion was talking about fighter pay. So they don't pay. They don't even pay the champions. Got the AI says this AI. Who knows if it's accurate? Oh, actually, let's look at this article later. We'll look at this Reddit later. I didn't find it till just now. We'll push that back a little bit. Give you something to look forward to. Sean Strickland's UFC pay varies based on several factors, including fight outcomes, opponent caliber, event prominence, while his base salary has been reported at different amounts for various fights. Example, 850 against Israel Adesanya, 500,000 versus Drukis, which aren't bad numbers, but he was arguably the most famous fighter during that time period. One of the most famous fighters. Still not breaking $1 million. His total earnings can reach higher figures when including bonuses and sponsorships. Well, I don't want to include bonuses and sponsorships. For example, his fight against Paulo Costa at UFC 302 earned him a total of $1.2 million. So you gotta remember, guys, they gotta pay taxes on all this stuff. you know, I'm thinking 25, 30, 35% in some cases, depending on where they're fighting. So even if you make $1 million, 350 or 35,000, what is that? 350? Yeah, $350, 350,000. Gone bye bye. Says UFC 293, base salary 850 with total earnings around 1.53 million. UFC 97, 500,000 with potential up to 1 million. UFC 302, total earnings 1.22 million. UFC 312, another $1 million. So that's maybe $4 million. But guys, think about this. $4 million, that's all he's gonna. I'm not saying that's all he's gonna make, but he won't be able to do those fights like he did before. BJ Fanatics just messaged me. He won't be able to do those fights like he did before. That $4 million might have to last him the rest of his life. And it's not even $4 million. It's $4 million minus tax. So less than four. Let's say $2 million. $2 million is a lot of money, but will it last you the rest of your life? He won't be, and he's going to have some health complications. I assure you. That $2 million can get eaten up. Yeah, they say $4 million net worth. You guys can see this here. Let's click on that. Yeah, $4 million. I'm saying $2 million. That $2 million with his CTE and all this other stuff, he might not have the same lifespan or lifestyle as most of us. So that's gonna be rough, man. It's not. I don't know if that $2 million was worth it. Would you let me knock you out for $2 million? Guaranteed brain damage for $2 million? I'll have you turning out like a BJ Penn for $2 million? I don't know, man. So we got another article says Sean Strickland reveals $4 million net worth and eyes $10 million before UFC retirement. So he's looking for that payday. $4 million. I ain't got $4 million. I can't talk too much about that, but he's been fighting the best fighters in the world. $4 million to me seems kind of low. Fighting Adesanya, Paulo Costa, and some other people. Let me get some spam on here. That seems kind of low to me. Yeah, let's see what they say. So he wants that payday. Let's see. Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland has revealed that his net worth is approximately $4 million, thanks to wise investments. So the investments are what's got him to that 4 million, not just fighting. Fighting got him to 2 million, and then he had to build it up with investments. Thanks to wise investments, and he anticipates it to grow between 8 to 10 million by the end of his fighting career. During a recent stream with influencer Aiden Ross, Strickland discussed turning down a fight offer against top contender, citing their relationship as a key reason. The statement highlights Strickland's financial stability and personal values as he navigates the complexities of life in Octagon and beyond. So he's pretty smart. He's investing and man, these guys got to get out while they're still smart. Don't keep fighting and taking all that damage, and eventually you're over here getting conned by other people. In recent live stream with influencer Aiden Ross, they keep mentioning this kid, Twitch streamer or whatever, kick streamer. Sean Strickland opened up about his financial standing, revealing that he estimates his net worth at approximately $4 million. This figure is primarily in liquid assets. Okay, that's not bad, including an impressive $500,000 invested in real estate. I'm hoping that works out. Real estate could multiply that or take all that away. Strickland elaborated that his financial strategy involves diversifying his investments across various accounts, indicating a well-thought-out approach to wealth management. He even projected that by the time he retires from active fighting next year, when is he trying to retire now? His net worth could balloon to between 8 to 10 million, allowing him to withdraw a comfortable annual income. Strickland's thoughts on UFC fighter pay. So let's look at this. This financial padding speaks volumes about his tenure in the UFC over the past 11 years. So 11 years to make $4 million. Not the worst way to make. Most people work 11 years. They don't even break even. But he's going to be up a little bit. But again, think about his health. His health in the future is 11 years in UFC. You're going to have CTE. For sure. You're going to have health complications. You're going to have maybe not as long lifespan. So 11 years where he participated in 23 bouts, including 3 title matches. Although exact earning figures are elusive, it's clear Strickland has positioned himself as a well-compensated fighter, even without the transparent salary data. Despite his financial success, Strickland has not hesitated to voice his concerns about UFC fighter pay on multiple occasions. In an interview with Daniel Cormier back in 2024, he expressed frustration with the promotion's handling of contract negotiations, stating bluntly, the UFC does not do the right things. I mean, man, they never did the right things. This sentiment reflects a broader dissatisfaction with the MMA community regarding how fighters are compensated relative to the revenue they help generate for the organization. I mean, it's got to go, all the revenue going to Papa Dana, Daddy Dana, and the shareholders. What about the shareholders? What about their return on investment? I mean, sure, they don't fight. I never seen Dana White fight in my life. And he make more money than all the fighters. Strickland's outspoken nature on such matters may stem from his own experiences and understanding the financial pressures fighters face. As he approaches the later stages of his fighting career, his advocacy for fair pay resonates with many in the MMA world who feel undervalued. This ongoing dialogue about earnings could shape future negotiations for younger fighters entering the sport. Yo, what's up, Jason? He says, I found there's a couple of reasons they continue to fight. It's the only thing they're good at to make, and they love the adrenaline. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the fighters, hopefully you got that fighting spirit inside of you. But they need to be compensated, just like other professional athletes, and treat it with respect. I don't believe Dana White and the UFC treats their fighters with respect, because they wouldn't do half the stuff they've done. I understand it's a business, but who's making you the money? Dana White doesn't make the money. The shareholders don't make the money. The fighters make the money. We're watching the fighters. They're the product. Says, looking to the future, Strickland expressed a mix of uncertainty and determination regarding his life after fighting. He acknowledged he may not simply step away from the MMA scene, indicating a strong work ethic and a desire to remain engaged in some capacity. In his words, I don't know. I won't stop. I like to work. This statement underscores his belief in the necessity of purpose, emphasizing that wealth alone doesn't equate to happiness post-retirement. Moreover, Strickland shared a deeper reflection on the emotional challenges of being a fighter. He revealed that large fight purses do not guarantee fulfillment, citing experiences of self-doubt and questioning his happiness on days following fights. His candidateness about the struggles underscores a common theme among athletes seeking purpose beyond their competitive careers. Yeah, so I'm hoping a lot of fighters learn from him, And if you go in the comments, you're gonna see some trolls in there too. Whew, I'm beat up today, guys. Went to the Meow Bros yesterday. Got some good training in. Someone said, funny thing is, Strickland would probably be happy and go fight Jake Paul for a bag. Yeah, go fight Jake Paul. Get out the UFC. Go fight Jake Paul. Make $50 million. That's crazy, man. I mean, I understand it's entertainment, but you go fight Jake Paul. He's not a real fighter. I mean, he's kind of. But you make more money fighting Jake Paul than fighting the best people in the UFC. That's insane. The real work isn't in the octagon. It's outside of it. Going up to the octagon to fight is the easiest part to those saying about they're getting paid 1 hour of work. Yeah, if you're arguing with people online, just realize they're probably bots or, they ain't got no brain cells. I mean, I argue a little bit too, though. It says you're only getting paid for those 30 minutes, though. Everything that goes onto those 30 minutes is on you. You could not train and you would still get paid for your time. Exactly. And they can't even get sponsorships. Yep, no sponsorships in UFC, really. Gyms, trainers, nutritionists, doctors, recovery. This stuff gets expensive real quick. So most money they make, they can't even keep. Yeah, so we're not adding. We talked about the $4 million, but Sean Strickland got other costs. You got the gym, you got the trainers, they got their fee, recovery, nutrition. That's not even talking about your family, your housing, all that other stuff. It says Dana gambles what most of these guys get in a year in one night at the casino. Ain't no way in heck he can be making that much more and be underpaying them. Yeah, Papa Dana, he gotta go to the casino. He over there spending $20 million at the casino. And no fighter ever made $20 million in UFC. Yeah, people jump on the fighters. They don't jump on Dana White. Dana White can slap his wife. He can waste all this money. He could do whatever he wants with the ring girls. He gets away with murder, allegedly. Hopefully that's not defamation, guys. Said this dude, what is this dude on about? They make 20,000 to 30,000 base for a fight. Champ gets like $500,000 at least. Sean out of touch with the rest of America. I mean, listen, most of America can't. Most of America is overweight. They could never be in the UFC. I want to see a regular American. Well, I guess that's slap fight. I want to see a regular American in the UFC, and they got to fight Sean Strickland. They will gas out in 1 minute. Says 10-10 for show and win base is what most UFC fighters are on. They're at the pinnacle of the sport. They should be getting paid at least $50K. I would say $100K. Their purse also goes to managers and coaches. They're all literally in the top 5% of most skilled people in their field, and they're risking their lives to perform. As a representative of the rest of America, you're coming across as a bootlicker. It says when you bring the cost into 30K, it ain't a lot, bro. Prelims are getting underrated fights. I don't. Let's see. In a way, I can agree because those new fighters know that in the UFC, giving big standing fights could give them a shortcut. They maybe are less skilled when it's about the technique, but for those who want to watch huge KOs, you're right. Yeah, I mean, 40K for one night of working a whole year to make 40K. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Yeah, but you're not getting CTE. It says most UFC fighters don't even make that in 2 fights. Training in the gym every day is harder than a 9 to 5. Not for me. That's a hobby. Only if you hate working out. It's miserable. Yeah. So we're gonna see some more about this. Someone says Sean Strickland is not the average UFC fighter. No, not with 3 title fights. He's not the average UFC fighter. He has been in multiple pay-per-views. The average UFC fighter does not make that. Not even close. So we're gonna read some more about that, but let's move on. I could talk about fighter pay forever. We got Devontae. What's Devontae talking about? He says, "Do you get nervous competing before competing?"
You do all these like weird things to kind of like mentally psych yourself up.
Yeah, you have to.
And I think when you're younger, you just don't want to accept that like you might be nervous or you might have like doubt or like, you know, you don't want to plant seeds of, doubt in your own mind. So you're like, nah, I never do this. But like at this point, I'm kind of just like, you can like lie to yourself all you want, or you can lie to like the public all you want. Like when you compete, it's going to be evident. You know what I mean? And like a lot of times the best competitors aren't the competitors that like don't get nervous. They're the ones who can like be like, oh, fuck, like things are going bad.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But like they can be like, things are going bad, but like I'm still gonna do what I have to do anyway. And I've prepared for this mentally. So like at this day and age, like actually a student literally asked me, like, are you ever nervous or do you ever get scared? And I was like, scared? I don't know. I've never been like really scared of another male since I was like 20. But I think it's okay to admit like, oh yeah, like, you know, I might get a little nervous and this is how I deal with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
it's better to do that.
I think honesty is cool. As my brother would say, if he would be capping. And it's cool to cap now. And I'm just like, bro, like what happened to being real? Like, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend, you know, like these are not like realities. Like, yeah, you get nervous. It's like and this is actually the fun part of competing. It's dealing with those elements, like that potential insecurity, that like the fear of unknown, and like being in the moment. And there's a lot of people watching you, many people talking smack, probably negative, and then like, all right, let's see if I'm who I actually think I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and this is like to me, this is the cool thing. You know, like this is why even now I still compete.
Yeah, shout out to Devontae. Jason says when the UFC went to Reebok as a sponsor for the fighters, that's where multiple fighters that showed they lost hundreds of thousands per fight due to not being allowed sponsors on their fight kit. Yeah, so UFC, we talked about uniform policy before. You know, I've talked about uniform policy before, but that's basically what the UFC did. And they enacted that, and what they ended up doing is taking away all the fighters' sponsors. So I think fighters make less money than they did 10, 15 years ago. I mean, UFC didn't care. They don't care if the fighters are starving and can't pay their bills. I mean, as long as they go and kill themselves out there. I mean, maybe you're lucky you become Sean Strickland or Israel Adesanya or Alex Pereira. But most fighters, the majority of fighters ain't going to reach that level. You know, they're going to lose most of their fights. They're not going to establish themselves. They're not going to get a title fight. They're not going to win a title. So it's tough, you know. And you're not going to make any money. You're going to lose. You're paying money to fight. You got to pay the trainer. You got to pay your trainer. You got to pay the gym. You got to pay your nutritionist. All this other stuff. Bro, when are you making money? And your career's short. You already got a short career. And the lasting results for gonna be, you're probably gonna have brain damage for the rest of your life. You think Dana White gonna give you some money? He ain't gonna give you no pocket money. He got $20 million. He got $15,000 in his pocket. He ain't gonna give you $100 bill. Says Izzy was smart enough to build a brand, and a team. But listen, Izzy he had the skill. He was skilled enough to do that. Most fighters, aren't gonna have Israel Adesanya's talents. Most fighters, yeah, they don't have the personality. They don't have the physical ability. Israel's a 1 in a million person. Probably bigger odds or smaller odds. Engage has so crazy cool products. Engage, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's his brand. That's cool. Again, most people aren't gonna be Israel. Most of these fighters didn't go to private school like Israel. I think Sean Strickland went to private school too. Did Sean Strickland go to private school? Sean Strickland was homeschooled, not educated at private school. He later earned a master's degree in sports management from SNHU in the fall of 2021. So yeah, most of these fighters can't put two sentences together. I can barely put three sentences together. But Sean Strickland got his master's. He got his master's degree. So of course, he's going to be a little bit more up than most of these fighters, Israel Adesanya, did he go to private school? Is this a private school? Anyone can do anything if you were able to make it in the UFC. You had the dedication to build a brand. That's not true. You resent that. Well, listen, if you went to public school, I think you probably wouldn't be where you are now. You'd probably be worse off. Yeah, I mean, you do have the potential in the UFC. Well, I mean, you still got to be an outlier to make it, man. You can make it to the UFC, not stand out, not win any fights. If you're not winning fights, you're not gonna make a name for yourself. It's the same thing, man. Catholic school, I mean, it might, they got their issues too, but if you went to public school, you might have turned out worse. Let's read this real fast. Israel Adesanya, a renowned professional mixed martial artist, kickboxer, and boxer, has made a significant impact on the world of combat sports. Notably, he began his journey at Strickland School, OPB. I don't know where that is, where his potential was evident from a young age. During his time at Strickland School, Israel excelled in the school's Taekwondo club. Most people's schools don't have no Taekwondo club. You go to Catholic school, you got some resources usually. I'm not saying your family didn't struggle or anything like that, but you got a leg up. Displaying exceptional talent and deep passion for the sport, his dedication and early promise laid the foundation for his future success. I mean, clearly this is I'm pretty sure it's a private school. Oh, he went to a private school in Nigeria. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So he still got a good education. Man, good education. That might be the difference between Israel and Sean Strickland and a lot of these other fighters. I'm not saying other fighters don't have the potential, but that education is probably plays a large role in why they're successful now. He says, I will say is both schools have bad kids. Only difference is that the private school kids got out of trouble easier. Hey, listen, that's also that's also an attribute of being able to be in that circle, in those schools. You're going to make different connections. You're going to know lawyers. You're going to know some doctors. You're going to know all this stuff. You go to public school, you ain't going to meet these people usually. Same thing in UFC. It's also about who you know, how you network. Again, well, Strickland was homeschooled, but that could have been good or bad. But, I don't know, just you're going to have a leg up in education, I think. So Devontae was talking about being nervous. I think you get used to it. If you compete a lot. We talked about Rosinski yesterday actually, last live stream. He had 366 matches, so I think at a certain point you get used to the nervousness. Private school. Yeah, all the kids I know that went to private school, even if they were just as smart as the kids in public school, it's just, they were just, the way they're brought up is different. You're going to be around more professionals. Your dad, your mom was a doctor or lawyer or some other business person. You're used to interacting with, well-off people, talking to people with money, people that have, really nice jobs, people that are used to being in charge, people that are, so you learn how to navigate in those networks, in those environments. You know how to hold yourself, you know how to speak to get your point across, you know how to negotiate. People, the kids that go to private school, they're always negotiating. They're negotiating with the parents, they're negotiating with the teachers. You go to public school, you ain't negotiating with anybody. You're seen as a burden when you go to public school, unless you go to a really nice public school. But then you have to be able to afford to live in those areas with the nice public schools a lot of times. It's a leg up, man. It helps a ton. So nervousness, yeah, I think you just gotta get out there and compete. Get used to the nervousness, get used to the nerves, and that's just your body preparing you for the event. You can either use the nervousness as a driving force, or it can kind of overwhelm you. So, it's never that bad. Whenever I'm competing, I'm thinking, would I rather jump out of an airplane or do this match? And usually I'm like, man, let me do this match, because I hate jumping out of high stuff. I don't want to jump out of an airplane. I'm always like, man, I'll take this match over jumping out of an airplane any day. Now we got Jalen Financier, Cobrinha's new son. JH says, I almost went to public school, but my folks were like, testing would be the downfall because I suck at tests. Well, yeah. Well, your parents were smart. They got you. If you went to public school and those tests would have been bad, they would have put you in some classes that, you would have been worried about. You would have been in some classes with some people, some special needs classes or something. I don't know how, I'm taking a joke, but you don't know what kind of class you would have been in. And the schools were bad and filled with bad kids. Yeah, your parents saved you, bro. You could have turned out way worse, man. I ain't saying Catholic school or public school is perfect, but it could have been way worse, man. You could have been bullied and beat up and anything worse. So now we got Jalen.
Feeling great. It's such a raw feeling. I'm 19 years old. This was my black belt debut at Worlds, and I got the job done. I put so much hard work into this. I showed my level today. I showed who I am in this division, and yeah, the future is now.
And can you tell us about how it is to fight in pyramids?
It's amazing. I've been fighting in this pyramid since I was like 8, 9 years old at the Pan Kids. And to be doing it at the highest level now against the best people in the world, it's amazing. And now I'm on top of the world in the pyramid. Feeling great. Just such a raw feeling.
Yeah, so, even this kid, 10 years of competing, he got over his nerves, I'm sure. By the time he's 19, after 11 years of competing, he's ready to go. He's ready to win stuff. So, shout out to Jalen, Cobrinha's new son. Kennedy, I don't know where Kennedy is. He in the back. he on the air bike looking at his dad's medal. And he's got to look at Jalen's medal too. We got another post by Adele. You know, she had a good match with Fionn, which I still haven't seen. I don't have Fight Pass, so. So she went to a basketball game, and it says, Adele, keep kicking butt in BJJ. Rooting for you, Caitlin Clark. So if you guys don't know who Caitlin Clark is, she's like one of the best basketball players in America. Adele says, unforgettable experience with Indiana Fever. It was honestly a dream come true to not only watch the Fever play, but also sit courtside on one of their training sessions, and to top it off, receive a personally signed ball by none other than Caitlin Clark herself. So appreciative of everyone involved in making this happen. To be in a packed out stadium where the stars of the show were incredibly talented female athletes, brought up so many emotions, and pioneers like Caitlin Clark, all at the forefront of what is going to be a new era of the sport. Like I've said time and time again, there's change coming and no one can stop. So pretty cool. Women in sport supporting other women in sport. Yeah, so I'm all for that. You know, the ladies need to support the ladies. You know, I'm all for that. That's pretty cool. Watching the training. You guys know I'm a volleyball fan myself. I like the volleyball. We got another lady in jiu-jitsu, Helena. She just got her black belt in her knife. I hope is that sheathed? Don't put it on your heart like that. She just got her black belt by none other than John Danaher. So you guys know Helena won. She won Worlds, so congrats to her. Today is one of the most special days for me and in my jiu-jitsu career that I'll remember and cherish as one of the most meaningful moments for the rest of my life. Today, my instructor, John Danaher, was it Don Janaher? Don Janaher. I like that one. Promoted me to black belt, and I can't be more thankful and happy for that. I was also gifted a very rare Fate Viper in 690 knife. I don't even know what that means. This was the third time I was promoted by Professor John, purple to black, and I feel extremely blessed to be promoted by someone like John, for who I have so much respect. I have been with the team for 2.5 years, and it's a blessing to train, compete, and represent. I've been competing with black belts since I was 14, because you're a big girl. That's why. Not just you skilled, but she's big too. She's bigger. She's the same size as as a homeboy. She's almost the same size as Danaher, height wise. She a big girl, bro. 14 years old in a green belt. Whenever competitions allowed me, and now I'm officially a black belt. So I can't wait to step on the mats as a black belt and make my team proud. So shout out to her. I can't hate too much. Actually, I need to keep this up somewhere.
The King, Gordon.
What's playing?
Ryan.
Oh, we're gonna look at that later. We're gonna look at Kingsway. Hopefully, I don't get hit with the copyright. You know, they love to hit me with that copyright. So we had Helena got her knife and her black belt. I respect her because she did it in the gi. Gordon didn't do it in the gi. Gary Tonin didn't do it in the gi. Danaher didn't do it in the gi. She's the only one that did it in the gi. She's the only one. John Carlo did really well in brown belt too. But Helena won. She went there and won brown belt worlds in the gi. That's impressive. Rosinski retires after making history as first European IBJF Grand Slam champion. JH says, no offense, I thought she was can't say that. She looks like Danaher. Is she Danaher's daughter? She looks a little like Danaher. Danaher, you got some explaining to do. She look a little bit like Danaher. She got the Serbian genes, that's all. Maybe Danaher's got some Serbian genes. Well, that's her winning worlds right there, guys. Who she beat? I don't even know who these girls are. She beat them girls, though. Oh, this is a different post. Teenage grappling standout Helena has been downloaded to black belt. Downloaded to black belt. I mean, basically the same thing we just read. Yeah, she's at black, so we'll see. Adam Rosinski ended his legendary competition career in poetic fashion. He was trying to end his career last year, too. He tried to end his career at the Crown last year. Moments after securing gold at the IBJJF World Championships 2025, Rosinski placed his black belt on the mat, which is a traditional gesture signaling retirement. The win completed his flawless 13-match run across the year and crowned him as the first European ever to achieve an IBJJF Grand Slam. Well, he did it. He went from worlds to worlds. He went from World Championship 2024 all the way to Worlds 2025. Rosinski's climb has been anything but easy, though. He began training jiu-jitsu at 18 and earned his black belt in 2016. Oh, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty good, actually. Representing Poland with a unique and effective butterfly guard that turned him into a fan favorite. While respected on the international scene for years, his major breakthrough didn't come until 2022, when at the age of 30, actually, he captured gold at the IBJJF European Championship. The following year, he added the IBJJF Pan title to his resume, further proving his elite status. Then in 2024, Rosinski made history by becoming the first European man to win the IBJJF World Championship, a milestone that cemented his legacy in the sport. And he says, two-time world champion. After 9 years of upsets, heartbreaking losses, and coming up short, I broke the curse of the pyramid, not once but twice. Thank you for being with me on that journey. Yeah. Shout out to him. That's amazing. Yep, that's pretty amazing. So back onto Helena. You guys like Helena, Danaher's daughter. Someone says she's 18 now, and it was clear that her age was the only reason she wasn't black belt earlier. No crap, bro. You got to be 18 years old to get your black belt. You guys didn't know that? Probably because it has not been that long. According to her post, she received her purple 2nd of September 2024. Jesus, she got a purple belt in 2024. Her brown, she got December 2024. And then, wait a second. Is that true? No, I don't think that's true. She said she was with Danaher for 2.5 years. Danny Choppa, what's up, bro? He said, always thought Helena was related to Danaher when I first saw her years ago. I believe they took a pic with Helena's parents, and you could tell they are a family. That's Danaher's daughter, bro. Well, regardless, she's beating she be beating the brakes off these girls. I think the issue is a lot of those girls she fights aren't full time. She's full time. You know, she's got the ability to be full time. But she's not fighting. The only time she fought another full time girl was Sarah Galval. What happened when she fought Sarah Galval, guys? She lost. That's what happened. So I think as she starts to fight the full time girls, it's gonna get real. But when she's fighting the hobbyist girls, the girls that get arm dragged from the closed guard right to the back in 5 seconds, I don't think it's gonna happen as quickly. I'm waiting for the Gabrielli match. Let's see what happens when she fight Gabrielli and some of those other big girls. I believe Helena did middleweight, so let's see what happens when she fights the big girls. There's something uncanny about her looks. I still can't get over how she looks like she must be John Danaher's daughter. Because she is John Danaher's daughter, allegedly. There's something uncanny about her I can't put my finger on. Like when she posts content, it just doesn't feel natural or something. Not trying to be mean. Well, that's because her mom's in charge of her social media. That's why it seems unnatural. Probably just what happens when an 18-year-old is trying to run a professional type social media account. God knows I would have done a terrible job or come off as very awkward. Says she's on the spectrum probably. Everybody's on the spectrum at this point. I mean, she right between Danaher and Gordon Ryan. She on the spectrum. We're on the spectrum. Who knows? There's the spectrum right there. The spectrum's right there. The whole spectrum's right there, guys. She's a teenager training nearly full time in a gym of socially inept people. She's gonna be socially inept as well. Also, she's 18. I was uncanny and weird at 18. She's 18 and spends most of her time training. She doesn't have the same socializing skills as a normal 18-year-old. I'm sure she was homeschooled if she went to school. Sometimes you guys forget that you're talking about an 18-year-old kid. An 18-year-old kid who has continued the conscious decision of being a public figure with a curated persona. Please save the pearl clutching. Still a kid though. Just own it. Just own it up that you're an insensitive. That you are insensitive has nothing to do with her being a public figure or not. Let's see. That's because her parents run it entirely. That's weird because there are definitely some kind of thirst trap shots in there. Her mom took those allegedly. Think about the parents that put their kids in beauty pageants. Definitely some parents out there who live vicariously through their kids or see their kids as piggy banks. So we're going to see more of that in jiu-jitsu. We're starting to see that more in jiu-jitsu with these young guys, young ladies winning when their parents never achieved anything in the sport. Bro, her whole public persona is creepy. Has been like this for years. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they were trying to do with that social media account. Being surrounded by morons like Gordon certainly doesn't help. God help her if she decides to start dating. Who knows if she hasn't been dating? We don't know. I don't want to speculate on that. I hope she's not dating nobody at Kingsway. Congratulations to her original coach for giving her a great base to work from, who we never hear about in the first place. They always get forgotten once someone joins a well-known gym. So this is true. You know, Danaher, it's not the first time this has happened with Danaher. I mean, look at Giancarlo. Giancarlo got his black belt from Lucas Lepre. You never hear Giancarlo mention Lucas Lepre. he always mentioning Danaher. And some other guys too. She's a phenom. Only surprise is Danaher actually giving it to her. Pause on that. I shouldn't have made that joke. Since he's still holding back Luke, even though he won it. Well, she won it in the gi, bro. Did Luke win it? I mean, yeah. I mean, Luke should. I don't know. But to be fair, that was no-gi, and I know he's wanted a female competitor for a while. Didn't Luke get his black belt last month? Danaher is literally on record saying something like not having a female champion will be his biggest disappointment. I mean, shout out to the coach that made her a champion. I mean, she was winning stuff before. With Gordon Ryan effectively retiring and Helena looking literally unstoppable, I wouldn't be surprised if she's the new focus. Having an 18-year-old, I was about to say 13-year-old, an 18-year-old black belt that dominates the female division for the next 15 years could be insane for John's legacy. According to her bio, she started at 8, so it's around 10 years of training, with the last few basically being full-time. Just a quirk of the transition from kids to adult belts. When you have blue belts that are basically have black belt time, mat time. Effectively, you're waiting for their body to catch up to their knowledge, and the promotions are lightning quick. To add to this, she's been competing against world-class black belts and winning since she has been 14. So at that point, our make-believe belt system falls apart. No, I like having the black belt be at 18. I don't care how skilled they are, because you're talking about outliers. But you know, there's gonna be say the black belt wasn't at 18, you would have some McDojos giving black belts tomorrow, 16 to 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and then it would become Taekwondo. It would become karate. So I think you need to keep it at 18. You know, you need to have some maturity. Yeah, you need to have some maturity, you know. She was already beating black belts at blue belt. She was held back because she was still a juvenile at the time. Purple and brown belts were merely formalities. Well, when you got 10 years of training and you're a blue belt or purple belt, you know. We got some other posts on Reddit. You guys know Reddit's not my favorite place, but you guys like Reddit, so I read from there. Unpopular opinion about highest level BJJ athletes. Once you get so good in grappling, you can retire from your 9 to 5 and instead focus on grappling and conditioning 24/7. While having seemingly unlimited access to healthy food and nice weather, your achievements does not impress me anymore. I'm going to be honest, most athletes don't have that. Most athletes struggling. They got to put their life on the line to make it to that point. Man whose job is grappling, who lives in tropical place, who only trains and eats healthy food and relaxes all day, wins 50 matches in a row. Well, they're still working hard. Regular guy trains hard and becomes a black belt and wins 5 matches in a row. Impressive. Well, that's how it used to be back in the day, but now that regular guy can't win those 5 matches. It's going to be tough. The only person I can think of is Rolando Sampson. That was kind of like, I believe he's a physical therapist. There might be a few other people, but it's kind of uncommon. I get what you're saying, but there are levels. The pro is competing against other pros with the same training and benefits. The regular guy is competing against other regular guys. In all fairness, I would say the pro is more impressive in that everyone is getting the same training. For instance, I'm a regular guy, but I train and have been training on average over almost 20 years, probably 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes 8 to 10, sometimes 2 to 3. But anyways, there are guys that compete in the same comps that only train 2 times per week. 3 at most. I may be learning from a great black belt and have a gym with 10 classes a day. I have access to while his city has a purple belt owner and is only open 3 times per week. All this to say, all the pros train in good environments, get trained by pro coaches, have pro training partners, and have access to nutritional meals. And finally, they are all using performance enhancing. That's not true. So in my opinion, the pro level is the level playing field. That's not true. Not everybody has it made. Not everybody has perfect training. Some athletes they have to travel and change gyms to get to better training. But they're small gyms. We were looking at Outer Heaven in north of Miami. Very small gym with the Mahechas and Sebastian Serpa. But they have a small gym and, they make it work. For years, think about like Cicero Costa was always a very small gym, but he had some killers. There's still some small gyms out there. I mean, New Wave, Danaher School, Gordon Ryan School is really small, but they got the crew of killers, and some people don't even have access to that, They don't have access to multiple times of training. Heck, some gyms we can't even train. We only get 3 rolls at some gyms. Some gyms we on the mat for an hour and they kick us out. I be getting kicked off the mat after an hour. Some gyms you only got 2 or 3 training partners and that's it. You got to make it work. I wouldn't listen to this guy too much. We got Fionn. She's uninterested in CJI too. Well, she's got a contract with UFC now. Says Davies has an exclusive UFC deal. Okay, that's a non-story, especially since this came after her most recent match. She's very likely injured and trying to save face. Nah, she's okay. Them girls can take damage. Pause on that. They can take damage on the arm and legs. It's literally just what you said about the UFC deal and agreeing that she wouldn't be an exclusive contract instead of saying that she's happy with her UFC deal, likely puts her relationship with her employer at risk. Likely has nothing to do with an injury, just PR stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if off the record she also wishes she could take other money making opportunities. To be fair, if you read her actual quotes in the article, she's not saying 100% that she wouldn't do it or that she wasn't interested. She's just saying that she's more excited about the UFC belt, and unless there's a CJI women's division, I'm not interested. I'm not going to beg for a place. That is just hype to talk up her employer. Well, no, it's actually true as well. While also leaving open the possibility of competing in CGI if they decide to do her weight division. Yeah, I'm all for Fionn, man. She's kind of right. She don't need to beg for a place at the table. She's, at CGI, the last CGI, she and Gabby Garcia were the most decorated competitors. Gabby being a little retired, but Fionn was, the reigning, ADCC champ. Yeah, I mean, these girls, they deserve a place. You're seeing the sport grow. And it's changing, man. The demographics changing. It's not just gym bros. It's not just brain dead dudes on Reddit. It's becoming more mainstream. And the girls might have a better draw in the future. We don't know. More than her and Craig. Well, let's see. She was talking so much about equal pay for women and all of that in the podcast episode, talking about leaving ADCC and joining CJI instead to support the message of better pay for BJJ athletes, especially for women, all just to turn around and sign exclusive contract with the UFC. Well, they had better opportunities for the women. They had the main event was her. CJI, she wasn't the main event. UFC is more likely paying her better than any once a year at most events like CJI can. Signing with them is definitely consistent with wanting better pay, in my opinion. Says that's Craig's line. With everybody across social media has been parroting. I personally find his opinion on this really distasteful. Very Dana White to talk crap about athletes who don't fall in line. Yeah, that's what Craig Jones does. You guys love Craig Jones. He's only just announced the women's tournament, and it's 3 months out. There aren't even any competitions or competitors secured yet, making it incredibly difficult for athletes to gain or to plan their finances. I have no love for the UFC, but they made Fionn and Adele the main card event, and presumably they're getting paid good show money. It says Craig is speedrunning his transformation into Mo. Yeah. Or Dana White. Who would you rather be, Dana White or Mo? I'm gonna make that a thing. Can I start a Q&A? Let's see. All right, guys, we've got a live Q&A going on. I guess you could just, I don't know how you answer that. I'm going to try to monitor that. Can I see the chat, though? I'm going to let you guys answer because I want to hear what you guys got to say. Says Craig Jones is speed running his transformation in the Mo. Payouts already cut huge in CJI too. All the trials people are competing for free. No discussion of show money for the main show competitors. And in his most recent podcast, started defending not giving women equal pay. Oh, was he? I didn't hear that, but you guys love Craig Jones. Why does CJI have equal pay? Well, clearly not. They gave $1 million to the dudes, and I don't know how much money they gave to the girls, but I mean, clearly not $1 million. Says unless there's something I'm missing, that was pre-CJI too, so she couldn't plan around that and just pass on UFC. Craig warned grapplers when the UFC was first making grapplers sign exclusive contracts. It's true, and he warned people, but on the other hand, unless he has multiple matches set up for you in future CGI events, it doesn't seem like a good move. There wasn't a women's match even mentioned until about a week. I don't like exclusive contracts, and I don't think they are good for the sport. However, if I was a woman or a small man, I'd consider it if the money is right. Certain divisions have trouble getting matches, so an exclusive contract really isn't blocking that many matches. From a professional solidarity standpoint, it makes sense But from a personal financial standpoint, it doesn't. Brand wise, on time will tell. Brand wise, only time will tell which is better. Grapplers were warned about exclusive contracts by Craig when the UFC exclusive contracts were starting. Then that was when Mikey and him got into it. So I mean, Craig Jones didn't have. He didn't have. Okay, CGI is one. It's just one event, right? One time a year. They didn't have no matches for Mikey. What are you supposed to do? Wait for Craig Jones, or just do what he's gonna do and get the money while he still can. Says people know what exclusive contracts are. Wait a second. Exclusive contracts are pretty lame, but I don't think CJI is going to pay the same over the course of the year. No, it just pays that one off. It's just one off. People know what exclusive contracts are. The question is, why would Fionn pass up a Fight Pass contract she's happy with? In favor of Craig Jones maybe hosting a women's division at an undetermined weight class for an undetermined payout and undetermined show money at some point in the future. Maybe if Craig wants people to hold out on signing exclusive contracts so he can have them on retainer, then he should be offering retainer fees. Oh, Craig Jones. We got another Reddit post. It says, "Help me decorate my jiu-jitsu room." I guess it's in his house. I hope it's not a business. Well, I would probably cover up this ceiling. That wood-floored ceiling. I'm not sure what you would do with that. What would you guys do with that? It says, I just installed a sprung BJ and judo floor in my rec room. What should I decorate it with? The more nonsensical, the better. I'm talking a wall of professor photos with various Lord of the Ring character type nonsense. Oh well, I can't help this guy. I thought it was actual gym, but it's his house. I don't know. Is that the Australian flag? Got the ceiling, the wood ceiling, and there's a lot going on. Carpet. There's stone. There's the wall, drywall. There's the wood. There's too much going on. There's too much to save this room. Yeah, there's too much going on. I kind of like the wood vibe. Australia, I'm thinking surfing, more natural. He's got the wood up here. Maybe keep the wood there. I'm a fan of, it's like wood, steel, and rock or something. That's kind of what's going on now. It's kind of popping now. Carpet. I'm not the biggest fan of the carpet. I wonder what's under there. I maybe would change the carpet or change the paint or something. But if he's trying to make it goofy, I can't help him, bro. He got to do that on his own. Let's see what people say. It says, you don't happen to have a Craig Jones Helio poster, do you? Don't put that up, bro. Google's immediately. I found the original creator. I should be able to get this printed out and framed. Need to put him next to the Aussie flag and hang up a Brazilian flag on the other side. Yeah, you could always spray paint OS on the wall. Yeah, I can't help him. That thing's ugly. Yeah, move the TV. That's a good one. Where the bike is, so people don't hit it. And you can buy and decorate the wall with those BJJ wall decals. So many out there, but I recommend ones that have different throws. Be cool. Yeah, they don't listen to Reddit, man. So we did talk about Sean Strickland a little bit ago. I won't play the any UFC videos, but he was talking about fighter pay. I guess we're talking about fighter pay today. I should have put Sean Strickland as the main guy. Maybe I'll mix the thumbnail up a little bit because we kind of been talking a lot about Sean Strickland. So UFC champ Sean Strickland talks about fighter pay. multi-billion-dollar sports league where one of their premier athletes and champions is encouraging people to not take up the sport professionally and choose a different career, specifically because the pay is bad and nothing will change. UFC, I mean, they've been hit with some lawsuits and stuff, but nothing's really changed. And that's why Sean is earning enough money to consider himself rich per this clip. Can I move it in closer? Yeah, there we go. Imagine being Adriano Moraes and being on a 50 and 50 contract as a champion in one. Yeah, I mean, that sucks too. Sean's being real here. MMA is not a career path you would recommend to your loved ones. Nope. Boxing, MMA, any of those combat sports, really. The ones that make it big in the sport retire with a nest egg, if they're lucky or smart with investments and a broken body. The ones that don't make it retire being broke and a broken body. So nobody's getting out of MMA unscathed, guys. That's true, but it's more than brain damage than the pay. But it's more than the brain damage than the pay that make it a bad career. Same for the NFL. You make millions, but I'd never want my kids to be an NFL linebacker. Quarterback is where it's at. So, I like that rhymed. Some of the least damage, maybe wide receivers take less if you are a QB with a trash O-line, or go play baseball if you can. Kicker. Can't remember who said it, but not enough high school players practice to become good long snappers. If they did, they'd be recruited on that alone. Seems like one needs more public shaming on their bad pay. Well, that's what Sean Strickland said. The UFC was paying the foreign fighters, they're trying to recruit more foreign fighters so they can pay them less. Because when they go back to Dagestan or wherever, they can buy a farm. They can buy some cattle, sheep, horses. They're good. I guess you could do that here in America too, but it's just not as common. So they're based in Asia. They have mostly Asian fighters, so that $100,000 in Asia might go a little bit farther. I mean, he also said on Rogan that MMA is an everyman sport. Anybody can start training MMA at a young age and get into the UFC. If he rewinded his life and started training for the NFL as a kid, he'd never play a day in the NFL. Travis and Jason Kelsey also talked on a podcast recently that they don't think a single NFL player could be in the NBA. There might be some. NBA is mostly down to height. There was a study on sports specificity that claimed 10% of adult men in the USA above a certain height played in the NBA. There's no other sport where a particular demographic has a 10% chance of becoming a pro athlete. It was years ago when I read it, so I can't remember the exact height that was cut off, but it was around 6'7" or 6'8". So if you're above a certain height, you have a 1 in 10 chance of making the NBA. Cool. It says, I was so upset with the coworker of mine working a network IT person at the time, so it makes sense. He was 6'7" to 6'9", and he didn't have a single athletic bone in his body. I wish I could snatch a couple inches off of him so I could go D2 at least. Let's see. We're talking about height. It's an everyman sport for now. What current champions in the UFC has trained strictly MMA from the start? The closest would be Islam, but that's not even MMA sambo, or it's not even MMA, it's sambo. Most of these guys did other sports, then transitioned into MMA because the sport is relatively young and still growing. In a decade or two, the kids coming up right now actually training MMA will take over, and any hopes of a 20-something getting into the MMA and going pro will fly right out the window, and the average age will go from early 30s to mid-20s. My only issue with this is that it takes a long time to get the skills for MMA. The wrestling, the striking, it takes a long time to develop that. So I don't know the last champion that was like early 20s, maybe Vitor Belfort. Most people takes their late 20s to 30s to actually get everything going. Says, I don't like the guy, but I believe that'd be Sean O'Malley. I'm pretty sure he has zero background and explicitly started with MMA. I was wrong. He got a kickboxing background. There you go. He started when he was 16 and it was kickboxing. He didn't start doing MMA until he was 18. It says Leon Edwards, he trained in an MMA gym and only competed in MMA pre-UFC as well. Let's see. We're not talking about nothing about money. We're just talking about when people started training. So good job, Reddit. You lost the focus. It says comparing NFL running back salary to a champion in the UFC isn't fair. They're not even close in comparison. Running backs in the NFL have short careers and take huge toll on their bodies, but they at least make enough money to pay their bills. Plus, don't they get a pension and health insurance if they are in the league for like 5+ years? Yeah, you're not getting nothing from the UFC. You make it to the Hall of Fame, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got no pension, no health insurance. Nearly every pro athlete in the sport will tell you the same, since there is a slim chance for people to make it to the top. What will they tell you this is the same? On the way up and entry, yes. That's the same for any combat sport. Go look up what undercard boxers are making on Canelo or Fury cards. In many cases, they're making less than half the UFC minimum to fight 6 to 8 rounds that wouldn't be on the broadcast. Combat sports is very much still a pay your dues business. The difference is that you aren't just being paid to fight in the UFC. You're signing away your likeliness in perpetuity, sponsorship rights, and the ability to fight without UFC involvement. Yeah, so boxers got the sponsors. UFC fighters ain't got nothing. Boxers can fight on multiple cards with different promoters and whoever they want to sponsor them. Says the UFC dwarfs all other MMA promotions and whose revenue is many multiples of theirs. Lowered, right? And you don't expect UFC to elevate the pay standard and thereby attract better talent to make the MMA sport take the MMA sport to another level. Well, they haven't done that. What's crazier is that you won't take home $60K. You have to pay taxes, coaches, agent, etc. Sucks that they got rid of sponsorships. Hearing stories of fighters making good amount from sponsors, at least it made it a little bit better. Yeah, the UFC, pretty bad company. Says unless you're sure you'll make it to the top, it's definitely not worth it. If you don't at 35, you'll be out of the job and back in the workforce with very little savings after paying taxes, gym fees, and medical outside of fights. You may as well always train for fun, but work a normal job to sustain yourself through retirement. So you see a lot of guys, they keep their firefighting job, they keep their balancing job, their bartending job. Yeah. It says those massive, he's not wrong. Making it to the top of any combat sport is making bad pay for a long time. Look at boxing undercards, yada yada yada. It's just the UFC just signed a $100 million Bud Light deal, and ain't none of it going to the fighters. UFC don't care about their fighters. They signed $100 million deals. It ain't nothing going to the fighters. The UFC should have a standard of at least $50K to show and $50K to win, with a $50K win bonus or finish bonus. Making it there should mean your first fight you get a big check that allows you to train full time without worrying about the rent. And it says those massive corporate deals are ridiculous. There should be at least a small percentage raise across the board for fighters. UFC doesn't care about their fighters. And someone says the fighters need to unionize. Corporations will never give up money for the sake of it. The fact they all recognize how brutal this sport is and all went through that bad pay period but won't unionize is mind-boggling. Well, they actively fight the unionizing. They make it so you can't unionize. They get one or two fighters and they get them on their side and they kind of fight the unions, and they make it impossible for these guys to unionize. They cut you from the event. They got the monopoly. How you going to unionize the monopoly? They got all the power. They got all the money. All the power, all the control, all the say-so. There's no governing body. They do whatever they want. There's no one to hold the UFC accountable. Not the USA, not the US government. No one. No one can hold them accountable. And they just fatten themselves on all the money from the fighters. They're definitely going to get sued. They are being sued. This is the Dana anti-boxing PR takeover and over again. Guys on undercards of boxing make bad money because they are nowhere near world level. It doesn't change the fact that the headliner solely makes more in his one fight than the entire UFC card combined. Yeah, the boxer's making more money than all the UFC fighters combined with their pay-per-view points. Pay-per-view, sponsors, under the table deals. You're just not going to make any money, The average UFC champion's entire purse is the equivalent of the fine a boxer has to pay per pound of missed weight. Top boxers piss money, while top MMA fighters can't afford a mansion even if they wanted one. Yeah, we gotta look at top end. Yeah. It's bad, bro. I don't know what else to say. It's bad. They should just fight. They should just do grappling. You gotta make more money. So we had Mikey on the thumbnail. I might change it and put Sean Strickland as the number one on the front of the thumbnail. But he says the problem with leg locks. Let's see what he's got to say.
So to further talk about what I'm saying previously, let's go over some hypotheticals in the match, right? I'm here with Noah. We're just here in double floor. So I'm attacking a foot lock on him. I'm here. I'm doing all these things. His leg is straight, right? I'm able to apply good pressure for straight foot locks, for outside heel hooks, everything good. So Noah wants to defend all these attacks outside heel hooks. He has to start posting his hands, turning, taking his knee out like so. Look, how am I supposed to leg lock him now with his knee out? Do you see this? So instantly, this hypothetical, with the other leg locks you would learn, you would feel like, wow, I can't attack a leg lock anymore. I'm done. I can't do any of my leg locks. But notice that I don't have his knee anymore. I'm on top of his knee with my leg. So instead of his knee being inside my leg, you see the knee line, whenever the knee is inside my legs, his knee line is inside my legs. In order to defend all these leg locks, he takes his knee outside my legs. So now my legs are on top of his knee. You see, right on top of his knee, behind his knee, my leg becomes. But now, what is still inside my knee? What is still inside my legs? His calf. You see, that's why we're doing a calf slicer. When he removes his knee from the equation, his calf remains inside my leg. Previously, his knee was inside my leg and we attacked things on his knee. We attacked things on his foot, but still controlling his knee. The second he removes his knee from the equation, now his calf became his knee essentially. So now that's why we're targeting his calf. That's why we're targeting other things from this scenario. And that's going to now enable me to start attacking a calf slicer. So it doesn't matter what type of submission I'm doing. I could be even doing a knee bar here. He starts turning. He starts clearing his knee. Now I cannot attack his knee anymore, right? Because it's not inside my legs. Now I can begin attacking his calf.
That's good. That's pretty good. I want to see this too.
All right, so
is this on BJJ Fanatics? Yeah, we can watch BJJ Fanatics videos. Ain't no issue with BJJ Fanatics, guys. We got that hookup. Yeah, so that was good about Mikey. Calf slicer, it's there. He got Gabriel Souza with that at one, and then he went on that rant. But yeah, that's good technique. Let's see what Joseph Chin got this show.
The last thing I want to talk about now in regards to kind of maintaining this position is weight distribution. So understand that kind of the way we're going to distribute our weight, at least so the idea is that we want to really place a lot of weight on our partner's frames. And how do we make him frame? How can we put weight through the frames? Is by creating this threat of chest to chest. Because when I'm here, I'm going to present this threat so that my partner is forced to react. If Lynn doesn't react to the threat of chest to chest, from here, it's basically giving me a pass. So by present, because you don't want to be here and you're like, oh, why is he not framing? Right? Maybe he's doing something else. The issue with a position like this is now he can use his hands to take scoop grips. He can hand fight, right? Hand fight. This is all so annoying for me. So if I present this threat of chest to chest, now if he tries to do these same things, it's going to come at the cost of me being able to close distance, or he's not going to be able to do it, right? So kind of presenting this threat is forcing him to kind of address the risk of chest to chest, and just by like kind of figuring out what's the most urgent thing, because right now hand fighting isn't so urgent. If I threaten chest to chest now, if he lets go of these, the problem is going to be very urgent. So being conscious of that and not just having your weight be back here, which can be useful sometimes, but almost always my goal is to just have my weight coming down on my partner from these positions, right? And so now I'm going to change my distribution of my weight to try to beat my partner's frames, which I'll talk about in a minute. But a lot of my focus is going to be there, because otherwise his hands are free to do so many other things that can be very problematic. So like examples include like if he takes scoops on my leg, like reverse de la Rivas, etc. If I'm here and he's about to like threaten a reverse de la Riva on me, like from here I don't want him to be able to invert. However, if I present this threat of chest to chest immediately, now from here when he wants to make that grip, it's going to be very difficult initially, and the risk he's going to incur is very significant.
This seemed like a really
and
nice
the risk he's going to incur is very significant. All right, so now.
So that was pretty cool by Joseph. We're going to watch one more video because I'm learning some stuff.
We're going to actually be talking about leading edge. So we've hinted at it a lot so far, but now we're actually going to talk about it, because this, I think, is a very important idea and a very useful tool in regards to beating frames. So we'll talk about this. We talked about moving our shoulders, and this is kind of displaying this idea of leading edge. However, let's talk about it a little bit more specifically. So understand that leading edge is an idea introduced to me by Rob Bernanke, where it was originally a defensive tool for guard retention, where if Lynn wants to retain guard, he has to interpret which part of my body I'm driving in with. Because let's say I'm driving with my left shoulder, he frames on my right shoulder, not very useful. So he should frame on my leading edge, so the part of my body I'm leading with, right? This is appropriate for him to frame on. However, what I can do in this situation is actually change my leading edge to force my partner to reallocate their frames, which will eventually help me break through. So from here, depending on where my partner's framing, I can either look to, like, let's say he's framing on one shoulder, I can drive in with the other. I feel like he's driving, like, framing with both shoulders, then I can start looking to use my forearms, etc., etc. And this kind of dives a little bit into the realm of turning frames into levers, which we'll talk about later. But understand that what we can use as our leading edge isn't just limited to like shoulders. We can use our head, right? Like let's say he's framing, right? Frame. I can use my head to beat a frame. I can use my forearm. I can use like frame. I can use my knees, etc., etc. And he frames on the knees. Maybe he tries pushing away. Then I can come in chest to chest, etc., etc. So this idea of leading edge is a very useful tool, because then you can kind of interpret what part of my body is my partner framing on and which part of my body is he not. And then you can kind of think about, okay, what are some ways that I can use the part of my body he's not framing on and look to progress position and not even like get to a pass, but create a threat that he has to react to. And off of that, we can kind of then predict what will happen and then go into our attacks.
It's crazy how some people do this intuitively. You know, guys like Lucas Lepre, Marcelo. I don't know if someone taught them that, but they were just doing it, you know. And they still do it at a level that no one can really compare with, you know. Like Marcelo passing or you know, Lucas Lepre passing. Like they do that stuff to like the highest degree, and nobody explained that to them. Like if we watch a Lucas Lepre highlight or something, let's see if we can see something real fast. or even like a Leandro Lowe highlight or something. Let's look at this one 10 years ago. I won't play the music. But just watch like the passing. I don't think anybody explained this to these guys. They just do it, you know? They just do it. And I would say Lucas could beat who won lightweight this year? Mateus Gabriel. I think Lucas would beat Mateus Gabriel at lightweight. He'd probably beat Andy Murasaki. I ain't never seen Lucas made no crazy mistake like Murasaki did.
Timing.
He's just talking right now. Let's see. Put the passing on. There we go. That's Satoshi. So just watch Lucas. Is that leading edge? So a lot of the stuff that Joseph does, he learned from other sources. So, all that camping passing. Does that look familiar? The weight distribution, the leading edge. Doesn't that look familiar? Using the knees. I think Lucas Lepre would still beat most of the guys at lightweight. He would. Yeah, look, Satoshi trying to work the lapel. Don't pull no single leg X on or single leg guard on Lucas, man. That ain't gonna work. I guess there's always just gonna be the best in the sport, and I think Lucas would still tear people apart in lightweight. Bring Lucas out of retirement, guys. Bring Lucas out of retirement. Marcelo coming out of retirement. We can bring Lucas out of retirement too. Lucas, who else? I want to see Hoffa Mendez bring his butt out of retirement. We definitely gonna do a Lucas Lepre video one day. It's gonna be a lot of matches. He just jumped out of the De La Hiva, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Pressuring in, yeah, that's crazy, man. And that's Octavio Souza, yeah, one of the best guards. And Lucas all over him. Taking the back. Man. We still ain't seen nobody passing like this. Tynan passes, but he's using technique, but also just power. But look at Lucas. He just I'm not saying Lucas ain't strong, but man, he just position. It's just position. He adjusts. Tynan make a grip. Tynan don't let go of his grips. He's so strong, he make a grip. That's it. Lucas moving side to side. Tynan, he make a grip. You see the person can't even fight back no more. This Felipe Pena. That's what's that guy's name? Dang, I can't remember his name for some reason. I was talking about someone. I just can't remember his name for some reason. From Dominican Republic. Yo, Lucas, calm down, Lucas. Calm down, Lucas. They don't make no grapplers like that no more. What is that guy's name? I can't remember. I was just talking about him the other day. Yeah, my brain's not firing. But yeah, I just wanted to show that. Who is that? that, New York or something? I know this guy's name. I just can't remember for some reason. Does anybody know in the comments? But anyway, just great guard passing. Can we see Marcelo passing? Guy Mendez passes really similar. A little bit. He does a lot more stack passing. So if we watch Guy Mendez real fast, he does a little bit more stack passing. Hoffa's more dynamic. Guy a little bit more dynamic stack passing. Oh no, don't play that song. I'm trying to see some passing over here. He likes to pressure in. I mean, he'll do leg drag and stuff. When did Guy Mendez retire? What's up, Jason? Yeah, I don't know when he retired, but Barrett Yoshida over there. Guy Mendez passes really similar. Oh, wait, you already said that. Oh, someone else. Some more stack passing at the crab ride. Yeah, he liked to stack. Well, that's crab. That was the leg drag. Is that Jeff Glover? I forgot Jeff Glover used to be. He used to compete in the gi a lot. No, that's not him. It's somebody else. Actually, he does pass like Lucas a little bit. Just hips. hips. All right, yeah, he's using, yeah. Call this the chiropractor. Inverted gear. Who is that guy? There you go. Into the stack. There we go. That's the Guy Mendez I know. Completely different than Hoffa. Hoffa, like, finesse. Guy Mendez over here choke you out from the leg drag. I do want to see Marcelo passing. Can we see Marcelo? Not that Marcelo. Was he passing that tournament? I don't think he was passing. Can't play that music. You guys know I can't play music, guys. I'm sorry. we're not going to watch the whole video. But yeah, I'm just saying these guys, their passing was just, on a different. Nobody taught them this stuff. They didn't have BJ fanatics. They didn't have. I mean, they had coaches, obviously. Marcelo and Lucas had the same coaches for a good bit. Tedade and Fabio Gurgel. But nobody really taught them this stuff. Like, how'd you hop over like that, Marcelo? Who taught you that? Like, how to distribute their weight. They just kind of, I don't know, figure that stuff out, I think Marcelo would beat some of the guys now. I think Lucas would beat some of the guys now, and Marcelo could still beat some of the guys now. Man, blew his rib out. Shinya Aoki. You guys love Aoki. Aoki lock. Why was Shinya doing 76, 77 kilograms? I'll take the back. Yeah. Who taught Marcelo that? I don't think anybody taught Marcelo that. He just started doing it. He's like, dang it, I lost to Marcelo. I lost to the Leo Santos. Yeah, he's like, I lost to the best guy in the world. Jason says the Mendez Bros is amazing how you can have two brothers like a year apart in age and similar frames and have such different games. Yeah, well, it's personality, right? Personality. And to be fair, Guy Mendez won a world championship before Hoffa did. But, Hoffa had tougher competition in Cobrinha. Single leg X. Who taught Marcelo single leg X, guys? Marcelo just flying around. You think you're going to sweep Marcelo? Do you guys think Joseph Chin would beat Marcelo Garcia? I think not. And we quick to forget about all these athletes. Nobody knows Leo Santos anymore. Nobody knows Pablo Popovich, really. He used to be the most ripped man in jiu-jitsu. He kind of screwed up going for that leg, though. He shouldn't have gone for that. He shouldn't have gone for that. Arm drag about to happen. That arm drag, bro. Reynolds says, how big is level jump from blue to purple in comp? I mean, it's the same nowadays. Yeah. Blue's a little bit more wild, and purple, the technique starts to come in. More patient, not really patient, but, a little bit more calm, and they're putting stuff together, Blue belt's just moving without thought, and then purple belt, it moving with more intention. More intention, and you're not making as many mistakes. You watch a blue belt, they be making a ton of mistakes. Like, god dang, guys. And purple belt, they start getting tighter. They start, less mistakes, better passing, better guard, thinking more strategically, You start thinking a little bit more strategically as you get the purple. All the belts are tough, man. All the belts are tough. So I just wanted to show Marcelo over there doing it. I do want to do a video on Marcelo. That's going to be a while too. My workflow. I was talking to Chef Angie, one of my friends over here. He's like, you should, do something about your workflow. And I'm like, bro, my workflow between tournaments and training, it's really hard to get everything going. Now we got 4 submissions from the final day at Black Belt Worlds. Let's see who's on here. Hopefully there's no music. There's music, guys. No music. No music on here, guys. A lot of not that many submissions, unfortunately. A lot of matches were ref decision or ref decision or advantage.
Bora, passa por cima dessa perna.
Do the test, Mikey. I don't know what that means. Do they test Mikey? Mikey said the only thing he does is spaghetti sauce. That's all he's on, man. Test him for the spaghetti sauce. So we got a little bit of reaping here. Andy Murasaki was reaping the whole tournament. You see his leg going across the plane of the guy's, and that should be a DQ. I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate. I don't know what Mikey is on or what not. He's on the spaghetti sauce, man. I just told you, bro. I don't know what else he's on. That's all I know. Roosevelt over there stalling the whole tournament, except for this match, apparently. We got to see who did USADA test? We're gonna fast forward a little bit, guys. Oh no, that was nice. That was nice. That was nice. Yo, that was a nice guard pass. That was pretty nice for the big guys. Hey. Yo, he put Roosevelt down for a second. Go behind, bro. You messed up. Don't stop, bro. Don't stop. No, why did he stop? Don't roll out of bounds. That's the DQ. Oh, no, it's 2, actually. So you lost 2 points. That could also be autism. I don't know. Could be autism. My man's on the spectrum, bro. We don't know what he's got going on. ADHD. That's it, bro. Actually, it wasn't that tight. He could have gotten out. Look at that. Wasn't that tight. He could have gotten out. Yo, this girl been cheating the whole tournament. Pulling the gi over the girl's head. Look at she cheated, bro. That girl cheated. She could have grabbed. She's a good grappler, though. I'm just hating. I think she steps right into the triangle, if I remember correctly. Gonna push the inside leg off. Right there. She messed up. She must go back to shin to shin.
Viva, isso, boa. Quebra essa pegada aqui do pé esquerdo. Boa. 5 e 30. 5 e 30. Atrás de bola. Atrás de bola. Liga até o final aí. Não aceita ficar produzindo. Carol, ela vai querer pegar. Afasta ela e volta. Afasta e volta. Não deixa ela pegar. Agora tem coração, cara.
Essa pegada é isso.
Estica o pé esquerdo na barriga dela pra afastar e volta agora. Tira o joelho do chão, Carol! Puxa a cabeça dela! Devolve e passa a perna na frente. Você já saiu da posição de bola. Não deixa a perna entrar. Fica! Carol!
Is the stream going okay, guys? Okay, I think we're back. Yeah. It's going slow for a second. That's a little jumpy. Good old YouTube. YouTube gonna mess up the stream. YouTube messing up the stream, guys. So some couple good submissions, Worlds. It's kind of tough to finish those submissions, you know. Kind of hard to get those submissions at Worlds. Everybody's so good. We got a few more videos. We got Jansen Gomez. Let's see what he's got to say. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
Gomez at the 2025 Worlds just won your second black belt world title, medium heavyweight this time. You won middleweight back in 2023. Just tell me about the emotions you're feeling right now after the second world title.
Oh man. Like, it's always a unique feeling, you know, when you win awards, you know, it's like everything that you did, everything you went through, especially in the camps, you know, that we do, our body go through so much, and all the doubts on the mind, even though you're doing good, you know, you're having the best performance, but you have to qualify, and then second day you have semifinals. And then, like right before the match, like a few hours before, you know, you start to warm up, and then trying to set the mind right, you know, it's the time. And finals, like everybody's looking to you. So I think it's a very special moment, like a moment that you need to be present in the moment, stay calm under pressure, you know, because the crowd is gonna always be going crazy. So you gotta just stick to your game and stay focused on the match. That's what I try to do, and I think I did well against game opponents. Batista fought him many times, so always when we fight is a tough match, you know. This one wasn't different, you know. I was able to defend a couple of his attacks and then got to the back a few times, almost passed, you know, and was a back and forth match. And then on the end, I was able to secure the victory, you know, getting my second world title. I don't even know what to say. I'm just blessed, you know, not just once, now twice. It's like, it's very hard to do once, and I just realized that I did twice on an amazing run, you know, almost 100% submission rating. I just didn't finish the final, you know, but Batista is a very hard opponent to submit, but I did 4 submissions before that, so I think this is speak like loud, you know, on the performance that.
Yeah, shout out to Jansen. I got the chance to coach him a long time ago, but if you watch Jansen, you don't really coach Jansen. You just watch him. You know, he's gonna figure out what to do in the midst of the tournament. Shoot, that music, bro. We're gonna look at Helena's road to brown belt middleweight gold. So we talked about her getting her black belt from her daddy, Danaher. Apparently, allegedly. So I'm looking forward to seeing her compete at the black belt. I think that the tournament was too easy for her. I'm gonna be honest. The tournament, you watch some of these other people, they fight in tooth and nail. She won the tournament too easily. It was too easy for her. You know, she's dominating left and right. So I mean, passing immediately. You know, the tournament was too easy for her. So I want to see her fight, you know, some better competition. Yeah, she just went and dominated everybody, which has been the case this whole time. Yeah, basically pass, mount, and just attacking left and right. So I wanted Sarah Gaval to fight. You know, they went to different weight classes, which I understand. I understand. You know, they both want world titles, but I wanted to see them fight. Are they gonna continue ducking each other at black belt? That would be pretty bad. Can't play that music. So yeah, she looks just like Danaher. We talked about how her parents are in control of her social media, so I don't know. I can't really say much about that. Gracie Baja, you know that girl. Gracie Baja, get out of here, Gracie Baja. Gracie Baja didn't really have anybody in the high level brown or black belt I saw. Maybe some brown belts. I saw a few people at black belt, but nobody really Gracie Baja really representing. We got an Atos girl. She's over here, pulls right into half guard, which I don't know if that was the best strategy. What girl is this? Do I know this girl? I don't know this girl. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat Helena. She trains with like Gordon Ryan every day and all these strong dudes. Is that 2 points? Wait a second. Wait a second. How did she pull guard from there? Turtle? I guess she could pull guard, I guess. Oh, the girl stood up. That's why. Oh, the girl messed up. She did not play the game properly. That's the final? Guys, was that a final match? That can't be the final. Quarterfinal? Yeah, she has the knife now. Yeah, don't mess with her, guys. She got the knife. I didn't think these matches were... I don't know. It didn't seem like the girls were good. It didn't. I'm gonna be honest. Didn't seem like the girls were good. Look at this girl. I didn't think the girls were good. I could be wrong. I didn't feel like the level was good. Can you guys fault me for that?
Sure.
I didn't think the girls were good. Yeah, she got the knife now, but man, I'm thinking that these girls weren't good. I've watched a few of Helena's matches, and sometimes she would pull close guard and then immediately arm drag to the back immediately. So we got another girl. She looked like she's more serious, but I just, is that the final? Jesus. All right, man. Come on. Them girls ain't good, bro. Them girls ain't good. This girl getting flipped over immediately. She just lets Helena pull right into close guard. No real. Look, what is she doing? Her legs all twisted. These girls weren't good, bro. Them girls weren't good. That might be more of just the talent pool in the girls division. It's not really. Maybe that year wasn't really good in brown belt. I think the girls were good brown belts, but Helena. Nah, I don't think the girls were good. I can show you some matches where I'm like, bro, what's going on? I don't think those girls were good, bro. We could watch. I could pull up any brown belt match, any brown belt male match, and they're gonna be tough. Let's see if this girl does better. Atos girls. What happened to all the Atos girls? Okay, this girl's a little bit better. All right, this girl. All right, okay. Dang. Oh, dang. Yeah, there we go. She messed up because she didn't stay in mount. This girl could have won. She messed up. So she should have stopped in mount. Helena turned. She had the arm. Helena got out. So is that a sweep? I think it was a sweep. No? Helena go for the ankle. All right, this girl was more game. This, but listen, this is brown belt world. Every match should be like this. It should be like, dang, this girl's good. God dang, Helena. She got 2 for that, or an advantage. So this should have been more. I think she got past, but that's what every match should have been more close like that. That's what I mean by good. She ain't gonna do similar at black belt, bro. Get out of here with that. Who's in middleweight? She might actually. Let's see who won middleweight this year. She ain't gonna do that to Gabrielli though. So she did come back, but she was getting worked over a little bit. Nah, bro. Let's who won worlds at middleweight? I don't remember. Yo, she should have been fighting. I wish Sarah Galvao went up. You think she was going to spank Sarah Galvao? She will win her weight in next year. I don't know, bro. Do you train? Do you watch female jiu-jitsu? Let's see. She ain't going to beat Gabrielli for sure. Let's see. This is light. This is Rooster. Light feather. Oh, this girl's good too, though. This might be middleweight. No, that's lightweight, middleweight. Let's see if she would win. Oh, that's lightweight. Who's this? Middleweight? Let's see if she would win middleweight. I didn't see that girl. Talita. She gonna fight some good girls though, bro. She ain't gonna fight the same Joe Schmo girls. Oh, this girl good. Helena did beat she did beat Elizabeth Clay. Elizabeth Clay made a big mistake though. Let's see this girl though. She didn't fight no tough girls. The only tough girl she fought was the last girl. We need some more girls in these divisions, bro. I want to see her fight Sarah Gabal. And man, there were some better girls. Did she do absolute? I don't think she did absolute. Why didn't Helena do absolute? She would have lost. Sarah Galval lost in absolute. Sarah Galval got tapped out in absolute. I think Helena would have been. Helena's getting armbarred in her division. Nah, man. I don't know, man. She was spending more time escaping than anything. I'm gonna say that she's gonna have some challenges in that female black belt division. But bro, every match of brown belt is gonna be tough. There's that skill. I mean, Helena's really great, but man, the skills in the brown belt men's, there ain't no easy match of brown belt men's worlds. She was going through some of those girls like nothing, bro. Can we find some brown belt matches? This girl's good too. This the girl that tapped Sarah. That's more of the issue with the girls. They need more talent. Is this the girl that won? Them some big girls, bro. So then the girls Helena going to be fighting. She's going to be fighting Sarah Gabal. She's going to be fighting those two girls. Where are the men's brown belt, bro? Let's see some brown belt matches. It also could just be this year wasn't as strong. Some years. I remember coming up at brown belt, some years you're like, you would have some killers. You're like, God dang, bro. Like, I don't know. We just gotta watch. That's all we can do is watch. We just gotta watch. She could just dominate. It's possible. We don't know. We just gotta watch. That's true. We just gotta watch, guys. I'll give some pushback, but we still just gotta watch. I'm gonna see if I can finagle this thing so we don't get hit with no copyright. I don't like copyright strikes, guys. Can I put something over that? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if we can watch this this match without getting in trouble. Watch this video. So we're gonna look at Kingsway. I'm not the biggest fan of that name. I'm not the biggest fan of that name, guys. I'm sorry. Kingsway? King's Landing? King's Landing? They should have just called it King's Landing. Or something else. I don't know. So I'm going to see if I can put something on here to... Can I put a filter or something? Image blend? What is that? What does that do? that work? I'm trying to figure out something to did that come up? No. Oh, it didn't come up. So yeah, I want to see this video, but I don't know if I definitely didn't got the in with Gordon Ryan. You know how many videos I did on Gordon Ryan? He ain't never gonna let me. Jason says people are always talking about equal pay, but it's pretty obvious the talent pool is not the same in men's and women's. Oh, at the top end, it's getting better. You know, black belt, it's just the other belts are, well, they just got a new crop of black belts, so I think they can field a team of, you know, really good ladies. And there's got to be more money, you know. Until there's more money, you're not going to get the girls until they can make a living from it. The guys, you know, the dudes can just, you know, subsist, you know, but the girls actually need a lot more money, I believe. So, it should be equal. I mean, I want the talent to be higher. I want the pay to be equal, but I want the talent for the ladies to be higher. And until that gets to the point, I think it should be equal. Just makes it easier. That way you don't have to worry about issues. You don't have to worry about lawsuits or trying to, you know, defend why there's a pay gap or anything. Just keep it equal and then build the girls up, you know. Maybe have the guys subsidize the girls, you know. And then build that demographic up, build that talent pool up. It could do some real work. So we're going to see if we can watch this. I don't have nothing to block this image. Ooh, you know what I can do? I can cheat. Henner Gracie, you there, Henner? Where's Henner at? I'm going to use Henner Gracie. You know, I have a picture of Henner. Just kind of laying around. Will that work? I'm going to have to change the opacity. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully I don't get hit with copyright, bro. You guys see me get hit with too much copyright. Henner, what's up, my man Henner? My homeboy. We're gonna cover up the video a little bit. Let's see. Will this work? You guys love Henner Gracie.
Hopefully it'll be by the time you're watching this video, but we'll see. Right now, we have pretty much all the main stuff set up. We're just finishing the back area, like the mats are set up, which is what we need. We're finishing the bathrooms now, the showers, the toilets, all the major things, but we're getting close. So I'm gonna give you guys a little impromptu tour about how things are going, and go from there. So obviously we have workers coming in and out the entire time. There's some probably noise in the background. So you can see the front area here. So this is like where the front seating area and the front desk is gonna be. This is all weights. We're gonna have a weight section in the back there, which is gonna be for instructors and like professional guys only. It's not for like random people smashing weights against the floor during the 5 o'clock kids class. That's not what the intention is. It's for the pro guys to work out like between classes and, you know, be able to just maximize their time. But this is all from Rep Fitness. It was really cool because they had army green, the weights and the rack and the bench is all army green, which kind of goes along with the theme. They did not sponsor me. I asked them if they wanted to sponsor me. They said no, which Rep Fitness, if you guys are seeing this, you should probably sponsor me because I'll post about you a lot more and people will buy more of your stuff. So yeah.
Don't do it, Rep Fitness.
Hopefully they'll refund me the $15,000 or whatever it was. They actually, you know what, I want to say, there's so many options. They have every different option on their website. And I ordered what I thought was the best. And they actually called me and they said, hey, if you got this package instead of ordering the things individually, you would save like $3,000. And so they called me out of the blue and they they got me the same amount of stuff, but through a different packaging deal, which saved me $3,000 when they could have just charged me the extra $3,000 because I was an idiot and bought it for the extra $3,000. So they actually did call me and they helped me out, which I thought was really like stand up and awesome from them. So I appreciate it. But this is gonna go back there. I'll show you back there in a second. These are the lockers. They have to go in the locker rooms, obviously. Everything has to be painted in there and finished before we can install the lockers, so we're waiting on that. Once the lockers are moved, the front desk is gonna go in. It's gonna be like an awesome stone countertop with like green to match almost this matte color exactly with like white splotches in it that are going to be backlit. So it'll be like a backlit stone, like completely custom front desk, which will be sick. The whole space, I think, is almost 7,000 square foot, about 3,200 square foot of mat space, which is about what Henzo's was in the city, in New York. So you can fit maybe 120 people drilling, 100 people rolling, like 80 people wrestling on it. So it's a good sized mat. Up here will be all of the ADCC medalists, world medalists, all the junior guys winning competitions on this wall. And then on the wall over there above the mat space, this will be all the ADCC champions, black belt world champions, Olympic champions, UFC champions.
How do you guys feel about that gym? I don't like the name, and I think it's too much stuff going on. Too many medals, and just keep it simple, bro. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Get people in the door first. I wonder how many people are you guys gonna be dropping in at Kingsway? I'm wondering. Let's make that poll. All right, guys, we got a new poll up. You guys going to drop in to Kingsway? We want to know. The people want to know. Hopefully, is the stream still up? Hopefully, we don't get hit with nothing. We'll see.
And obviously, John up there. On the back wall, that will be all of our students' UFC belts. So it'll be one for Matt Serra, two for George St. Pierre for the 2 weight divisions, one for Chris Weidman, and one for John Jones.
Why did he say students? Our students. They're Danaher students. They're not your students. Is George St. Pierre? Well, actually, he might be a student of Gordon Ryan.
All of our students' UFC belts. So it'll be one for Matt Serra, two for George St. Pierre for the 2 weight divisions, one for Chris Weidman, and one for John Jones. So you'll have UFC belts going across there, and then right in that back area, you'll have a Texas American flag with the weights underneath it. So it'll be a good street view. So walking back here, yes, I have shoes on the mat. I don't care. Everything's filthy. We have like our normal vinyl
shoes on the mat, guys.
Floor. So all the flooring's done. I know it looks like a disaster, but vinyl flooring, like nice vinyl flooring in the front, and then there's like nice tile all through the back of the bathrooms. So
is the stream still up?
A nice big walkway here. I have a 77-inch reach, so you have a huge walkway where you have traffic going each way. Back here, you're gonna have Texas American flag. Right through here, you're gonna have mirrors with a weight station that's for the athletes and the instructors only, which will be nice for us.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tight weight station.
Then back here, we have the office. So there's 2 offices back here. For like a little space to hang out for instructors between classes if you're here all day. Take it easy, and also just for like if you have to bring a client back to talk about a personal matter or contractual stuff, money, stuff like that. A little bit more private area than the front desk where you can bring people back here and kind of have private discussions. This is going to be the Danaher dungeon. So this is probably the first and only time you guys will be back here. This is where John's going to come back here and eat 87 bananas and watch like 50-year-old clips of like Muhammad Ali knocking people out between classes. So this will be John's little personal space where he doesn't have to deal with anything. Doesn't have to be bothered by anybody, and you can just sit back here and kind of hang out. So this will be the Danaher dungeon back here. This will be the public's office. And I actually haven't seen this done like this.
Yo, guys, don't go in that Danaher dungeon, okay? You heard it from me first. Don't go in that Danaher dungeon. I'm gonna stop watching that because I don't want to get hit by any copyright. But yeah, so Kingsway, that's the new gym. That's where you guys are gonna be dropping in apparently. I don't know. You guys do what you want to do. So we did talk about Sean Strickland somewhere earlier, a couple times. UFC fighter pay. Sean's a little bit smarter than the average fighter. He's built up a nest egg of about $4 million. He's got $4 million net worth. $4 million assets. He's trying to make $10 million before his retirement through investments and maybe some other big fights. But just note that most UFC fighters aren't going to see that much money. They're going to make $20,000. And they're going to owe $30,000 to their coaches and the nutritionist and the gym and the surgeries they got to So, fighting, unless you're talented, we talked about Israel Adesanya. He's very talented. He had a good education in Nigeria before moving to, before they moved to, where were they? New Zealand? Was he in private school in New Zealand? I don't know if he was in private school in New Zealand, though. Yeah, I don't know if he was in private school. He's definitely in private school in Nigeria. New Zealand, I'm not quite sure. Let's see, net worth. But Sean Strickland has a degree. Didn't we saw that he has a degree, a master's degree in sports management. So, he's smarter. He's going to be smarter with his money. He has a bachelor's degree from Valdosta State. Is that the one in Georgia? So he has a bachelor's degree from Valdosta State University, which is in Georgia. Shout out to Valdosta. In business administration, and a master's degree from the Georgia Institute of Technology. Georgia Tech. Actually, is that him? Oh, that's not the right Sean Strickland. That's different than Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland does have a master's degree. I don't see where it is on here. I don't see his master's degree. I believe he does have a master's degree. It's not showing up, though. Whoa, it's not saying. I believe he does. Maybe I'm wrong. But I read it earlier. I just can't find it. Education. Let's see. Jason says, people are always talking about equal. We saw that. Also, Gordon helped John Jones for like a couple days for his last fight. You didn't do anything for him, buddy. That's true. That is true. I wouldn't help John Jones. I wouldn't help John Jones. Why would I help John Jones? I don't hate John Jones, but I'm not the biggest fan of John Jones. He's done too much. He's done too much in this life for me to want to help him. I want to stay far away from John Jones and a lot of these dudes. Stay away from those guys. He received a master's degree in sports management from Southern New Hampshire University, SNHU, in 2021. So that's why he's got that $4 million nest egg. He was smart. Adesanya, says could be estimated between 4 and 6 million, and could be as high as 10 to 15. He's made some millions from his fights, and endorsements. He's the first MMA fighter to sign with Puma and has a partnership with Call of Duty. So he's smart. He's using that brand. He's making a brand for himself. Content creation. He's got a successful YouTube channel and strong social media presence. Investments. His father, a chartered accountant, has helped him make smart investments, quadrupling his net worth since his early career. So I was talking to one dude in the chat. He's like, well, I don't know if going to private school helped me. And I was like, man, I think it did. Look at Israel. His dad's a chartered accountant. He got to step up. Say you got the same amount of money as Israel, but you didn't have the right people around you. Your dad's not an accountant or a financial guy. You might be wasting that money. Sean Strickland, he went and got himself a master's degree in sports management. We just saw that from Southern New Hampshire University. So these guys are smart. As far as fighter pay, it's low. It's bad. I mean, if you're talented at fighting and you think you can make a name for yourself, go for it. But if you just are passionate about fighting, but the results aren't really speaking for you, I think you got to get out of there. Don't do it, or do your couple fights, and then move on. Most people aren't gonna make a lot of money in the UFC. Most people aren't gonna get a title fight in the UFC, and most people aren't gonna have a title in the UFC. So you just gotta be upfront about that, guys. We talked about that. We also talked about Mikey. Somebody asked me, is Mikey natural? All I can say is Mikey, he's on the pastas. He's got the spaghetti sauce. Where's Mikey at? He was talking about leg locks. I thought he was going to talk more about leg locks, but he just went into a talk about the calf slicer. I wish we could cover some Mikey content, but most of his stuff is covered by One or UFC, so. Man, Mikey, why hasn't Mikey done this? He should make his own spaghetti sauce. I know I spelled his name wrong. Mighty Mouse. No, Mikey Musumeci. He needs his own pasta sauce. Tomato sauce. I would like to watch the video, but it's under he's got one. Oh, he's got one Flow Grappling. We can watch it, guys. Flow Grappling. Shout out to Flow Grappling. You guys love Mikey Musumeci. The last video for the day. All right, last video. I'm in a good mood.
So
I will put the captions up. I can't play that music, guys.
I typically fast.
So Mikey, oh no, Mikey can't run, bro. Mikey, I'm glad Mikey's good at jiu-jitsu because he's not athletic to me in traditional sense. He's got his own pizza oven. We've seen this before. Pizza chart. Hopefully they take the music out.
Things, if you look.
So yeah, lots of cheese in there. Does he make his own dough? My man Mikey got them ulcers, don't he? I don't know if this pizza diet is the right one for us, guys. I don't know about this pizza diet. So he's got his sauce, he's got his cheese. Multiple cheeses. He says he usually eats 2 pizzas, 1 margarita, and with fresh tomato basil. There's his mom, and what's the other one? A little sugar, a little oregano. Why did his parents let him eat like this? Why did his parents let him do this? He got the flour. He about to make it from scratch. It's a good Italian flour. Mike, you in the wrong business, bro. You should have a pizza parlor. Have the pizza parlor right next to the jiu-jitsu school. Brilliant business model. Oh, he already had the dough. Did he make the dough or was it already pre-made? So he about to toss. Go, Mikey. Go, Mikey. Hey. Mikey kind of look like an old man. He's like built like an old man. He's ripped up and stuff, but he's like looks like an old man. He gonna still be eating pizza at like 60 years old, 70 years old, eating pizza, making pizza every day. He should have been born into a pizza family, bro. Why did God do that to him?
It's a pretty perfect.
Why did God put him in a jiu-jitsu family like that? So yeah, we got Mikey on the thumbnail. So guys, we watching Mikey, okay? Unfortunately, they got the music on the video, so he's about to put it on the thing. He messing it up. He messed it up. Hey, Mikey, what are you doing, Mikey? What are you doing? Would you guys eat Mikey's pizza? I'm changing the thing. Would you eat Mikey's pizza? All right, guys, we got a new poll up there. You know I like my polls. He got the process going, bro. 50-50 said 50% said they would do train at Kingsway. So is that the mozzarella?
The pizza?
Bro, this can't be healthy, bro. This can't be healthy. This cannot be healthy. I'm sorry, guys. You shouldn't be eating pizza every day. I don't care if you make it by hand from scratch. Does Mikey have his own kitchen? Because I can't imagine this man in taking up the whole kitchen making pizza every day. Mikey, get out the kitchen, Mikey. Let somebody else get in the kitchen. Jason says, "Would I eat Mikey's pizza? That sounds like a prison thing. I like my salad." Mikey don't eat no salad. I didn't mean nothing crazy by that. Would you eat Mikey's pizza? Mikey, bro. I don't think I'll eat this pizza, bro. I don't trust Mikey. Sorry, Mike. I don't trust you. I don't trust your pizza skills, bro. I'm going to the professionals. Man, this man just ate nothing but fat and carbs. He ain't ate no protein. Where the protein at, Mikey? That's all cheese and sauce and dough. And here's some more fat. Thanks, Mikey. He getting his calories in. So he seems to know what he's doing at least. I mean, you go eat his pizza. His sister ain't eating that pizza. Yo, I don't think autism and pizza don't really match, do they? They don't go together like that. Yo, he got his own pizza oven in the backyard, hooked up to the propane. No, Mike, you ain't supposed to use propane for that, bro. That's not authentic. Nah, you need some wood chips or whatever. What do they use in New York? Does anybody know what they use in New York? I think they use wood chips. He said, doesn't mean I'll eat it. Yeah. Some more cheese. How many calories is on this thing? I mean, Mikey's ripped. You guys seen Mikey? Well, we might take a look at his picture in a little bit. But man, that's a lot of fat, bro. From that cheese, that olive oil. Yeah, no shred of protein in that pizza. It's all cheese, bro. How long did it take to make this pizza? Mikey, who's making your pizza when you're tired from training, Mikey? This can't be healthy to eat pizza every day. It does look good. It does look good. You throwing it back in. Get the other side. A little burnt. Mikey, let that get a little too burnt right there, Mikey. Yo, all right, Danny Chopper, you let him make your pizza. I ain't paying for that pizza. He burnt that whole side up. Nah, man. That a little too crispy, bro. He should have pulled that out a minute or two before then. More cheese. All right, some basil leaves. All right. Did he wash those leaves? Yo, I don't trust Mikey's pizza skills. I'm sorry, guys. You guys can eat that pizza. He burnt that thing up. Hollywood Mike. Shout out to Hollywood Mike.
Got the New York fold.
Nah, Hollywood Mike. Nah. Put that thumbnail. Get him some drink, guys. He needs some drink. Too much cheese. The cheese. The cheese all up in his throat. The cheese all up in his throat. Get him some water, Mikey. Mikey, hand him that cup. Hand him that cup, Mikey. He needs some water, bro. Get him some soda or something. Clear his throat out. It's all burnt up. At least he didn't give him the burnt piece. Mikey gave him the best piece. Didn't give him that burnt piece right there. You see that burnt piece right there? Well, a lot of it's burnt. Yo, I ain't buying that burnt pizza, bro. 9.4? Heck no, bro. Ain't no 9.4. Nah, bro. Get out of here with that. Mikey, stick to jiu-jitsu, bro. Stick to jiu-jitsu, bro. Nobody touching that burnt. Nobody touching that burnt. Go and cut that off, Mikey. Cut that crust off. He didn't even finish the plate. He just sat it over there on the side outside the camera. Get my man some water, bro. Get man some water, bro. All right, guys, that's good. I'm tired. I got some training tonight. We did some training at the Meow Bros yesterday. Shout out to the Meow Bros, man. Got to see Paulo. It was pretty cool. We did some bolos, like an hour straight of bolos. It was pretty great. And then I think Jao kind of walked in towards the end. But it was awesome, man. So if you guys are ever in Jersey City, New Jersey, Jersey City, go check out 1908. 1908, I think that's the name of the gym. Yep. That's it, guys. I'm dipping, man. I'm tired. We should be on tomorrow, too. And I've been keeping a good schedule, Monday through Friday. You know, I've been doing my live stream. So we're trying to add on to it and keep it growing, you know. It's just slow going, man. Slow going. So I'll keep live streaming, guys. Hopefully I can get some guests on here. You guys seem to like Nelson from Inverted Gear, so I'll try to get out to him, put him on the stream too. And that's it, guys. I'm gonna play myself out. Hope you guys have a handsome Tuesday. Happy handsome Tuesday. And I'm gonna dip. Seattle Trouble, guys. Yada yada. You guys know the usual deal. So I'll see you guys soon. Go check out that Inverted Gear, guys. BJJ Mental Models. Offer code Alec. And don't eat that Mikey pizza, bro. Don't eat that Mikey pizza. He gonna give you that burned up pizza, bro. Get out of here with that, Mikey.